Quick show of hands, who's been in Web3 for like a year or less? Okay, cool, I'm in comfortable space here then. My Web3 journey started like just roughly a year ago. I heard that NFT games were going to be the next big thing. So one night I just found myself on YouTube and I wanted to get involved in one of the next cool NFT gaming projects. So on YouTube, I stumbled upon this video and it said about this game called Aavegotchi. And it was launching the very next day on Polygon. So when people say the Web3 has a high barrier to entry, especially NFT games, I know because I had to deal with it firsthand. I spent the same night, I had to figure out what MetaMask was, I had to figure out how to get my money from Binance onto Ethereum, learning about gas fees, and then having to get my money from Ethereum onto Polygon, and every step of the way I'm like pooing myself because it's like you're dealing with all these addresses and transactions. I had no idea what I was doing. But the day comes around and I finally got the money and I'm ready for this first come, first serve launch of the Aavegotchi's first title, for their first NFT drop. Now, is there a video here? Because that's my face after the video, and as you can see, I look pretty smelly. But the reason for this is my friends, they heard that I was going to they heard what the steps I went through to get involved in this NFT game, and they kind of wanted to get on board. So they actually recorded a video, which isn't playing, of our first-hand experience of trying to get an NFT during the first come, first serve. Needless to say, I didn't get the NFT, but it's fine. My friends, they completely gave up on me, they trusted me with their funds, and I failed. And my Web3 journey could have very easily ended there because it's difficult. But I stuck around because I'm a developer. So as a developer, I heard about NFT gaming and this decentralization and the fact that anyone can build on top of these protocols, and that's what interested me. So I got to work, I learned about Web3, and I wanted to build a script that allowed me to get a Gotchi from the market for less than the current asking price at the time. So that's what I did, but there's no resources on the internet at the time about how to get started on Web3. It was very, very niche. And this was just a year ago, so it seems like a lifetime ago. But what happened is I got involved in the Aavegotchi Discord, and through community and engaging with people, I learned how to interact with Web3, and eventually I managed to get my first Aavegotchi. So once I got my Aavegotchi, I got to work on building my first decentralized app, and I built this Chrome extension, which essentially allows you to see your Aavegotchis, so you can see their rarity, and you can interact with them all on the blockchain. And I was hooked. I loved decentralization, it was great. Through the community, I learned about DeFi, I learned about DAOs. All this stuff was completely foreign to me before, but now I was completely immersed in it. And through building this app, I eventually got a message from the CEO and founder of Aavegotchi, from the company Pixelcraft, who founded Aavegotchi, asking if I wanted to join the team. Now, he didn't know that only 2 weeks prior, I had no idea what Web3 really was or what gas fees were. Ignorance is bliss in that sense, but I took the opportunity, I quit my job in Web2, and I decided, fine, I'll join this team. Less than 10 people at a time, I thought it was quite exciting. So part of my job, so I joined as a Web3 developer and as a dev evangelist, and it was my job to essentially teach other people how to build on the Aavegotchi protocol, building their own decentralized apps, building their own mini games, and I loved it. That was until 2 weeks into my employment at Aavegotchi. After quitting my job, there was this new NFT drop. Now, with Aavegotchis, you have wearables that you can equip on them, which increases their rarity score. I'm not shilling, la-di-la-di-la-da, but essentially, I really wanted a pair of these little pump shades there. Luckily, I'm at an NFT conference, so I don't have to justify why I wanted those little pump shades, but they were pretty cool. So this time I was ready. I knew what gas fees were. I had already approved a contract. It's just a matter, I just had to wait and click a button when it appeared. This was the screen we got when the drop happened, and those eagle-eyed viewers will notice that those glasses weren't there. In fact, none of the high-ticket items appeared. What happened was there was these evil bots, essentially loaded with Ghost, managed to snipe up all the items before they even landed on the website. This was that the team, they did put some efforts to try and trick these developers, but it didn't work. All the items were gone. It's easy to say that these are evil bots hell-bent on stealing our money, but at the end of the day, it's just another developer using the decentralized tools to interact with your platform. Like, they've done nothing illegal, it's just part of what we're trying to build here when we're trying to build this decentralized game. So, obviously, the community, all upset, people screaming rugged. I was pooing my pants again because I've just quit my job and I'm 2 weeks into this job and this project seems to be a nightmare, but the community bounced back. Everyone was kind of thinking, they understood that what we're trying to do is something new here, and everyone was trying to come up with solutions of how we could prevent this in the future when we're releasing more NFTs. Now, we had ideas such as captures, like KYC sort of ideas, all of it Web2 technology that we didn't want to integrate into our game this early on. So the solution we came up with, which is quite obvious now, is an auction system. Now, if you've been in the NFT space, you've probably taken part in an NFT auction. And this completely, yeah, GBM, sweet, I didn't even see you there. Well, welcome. So why the auction model works, it stops bots from front running, essentially. It also helps with price discovery. People aren't just getting involved for quick flips. It also stops people from feeling like they missed out because they didn't get their transaction through. But where the true value lies is we've got to take advantage of blockchain's modularity and partner with GBM here to implement a bid-to-earn system. So even if you're not winning the NFTs, you can still earn money from simply getting outbid. So from coming up with a decentralized solution for NFT drops, we ended up creating something with a lot more value than if we just went for the obvious Web2 solutions. So when I'm talking about not using Web2 technology from building a game, I need to kind of set the record straight. Aavegotchi itself is a completely decentralized gaming platform. That's what we want it to be. But the Gotchiverse, which is our flagship title built on top of Aavegotchi, does use a lot of Web2 technologies. The whole idea is people should be able to build their own Gotchiverse on top of Aavegotchi, but you can't run in tons of servers, and simply you can't prevent bots from playing a game if you're just relying purely on Web3. So you're going to need to use Web2 when you're using a game, when you're building a game. But this does mean that I did title my presentation wrong because I labeled this as a Gotchiverse introduction when really it's an Aavegotchi introduction, but I digress. A few things there, I'm just going to skip. But there's another big barrier to entry when it comes to NFT gaming that we've had to come up with solutions for. About 5 minutes left? Okay, I'll go through this quick. So essentially, you want to grow your game when you're building an NFT game. And it's weird being at this convention where obviously everyone loves scarcity. That's the whole reason why everyone got stuck into NFTs and artists. And I understand that, but when you're trying to flesh out and build out these MMORPGs, you need to get through this whole scarcity idea. So at Aavegotchi, we've introduced another decentralized thing, Gotchi lending. This protects the investments of the Gotchi holders who, at the end of the day, they're not interested in playing the game. They're interested in purely for investment standpoint. And the people who will benefit from pay-to-play, they can't afford to buy these NFTs. So now we're at a point where we've got all these new people coming into the game, and we've taken down the paywall, and now it's just a matter of can we scale and can we adapt to the new crowd we've got. So this brings us to where we are today. The Gotchiverse literally launched last week. I am now the front-end developer lead for the Gotchiverse, and I oversee the design for it. It's very important when you're designing these games to kind of see the product from the eyes of someone completely new to Web3. So I thought about what would I wanted to see if I got involved with blockchain for the first time, and this was an approve screen. It's quite simple, but the whole reason I didn't get my portal in the first place is because I got stuck on an approved transaction. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just clicking things willy-nilly. And to be fair, I only just found out about this project the night before. So why was I trusting this website? So we can't trust every person who goes onto your platform to understand what they're doing. So it's our responsibility as builders in this space to kind of educate and teach people exactly what they're doing when they're clicking and improving these transactions. So why wasn't Web3 a big issue? Why wasn't UI, UX like the main priority when we first started at Aavegotchi? Well, a lot of it comes down to this thing called fat protocols, where most of the value lays in the actual underlying tech. That's the nerd answer. But the real answer is community building. You need time to nurture and build up these communities as they learn to grow with your protocol. And the community is the whole reason I got involved with Aavegotchi in the first place. Every day you see people coming into the project, asking questions, because there's so many different layers to Aavegotchi, and it doesn't do a good enough job at explaining what to do. But that ends up being, in a way, it's like a good thing. Because now you get people who are asking these questions in Discord who end up getting involved, and are the same people answering the questions when more people get involved. So what happens when you develop a great community and you make something completely decentralized? Well, you have developers constantly building new decentralized apps and mini games on your product. And this is kind of why we got into like Web3. This is the whole reason I got into Web3, is it doesn't matter what we now do at Pixelcraft, because it's kind of taken a life of its own. And every day I'm kind of inspired by seeing what people are building on top of the Aavegotchi platform. So I've been in Web3 for about a year now, and literally I didn't realize how weird it was just being a Polygon native. But I've now left my bubble for the first time in ages, and I just want to say thanks to the organizers for inviting me up to speak and getting me out of this bubble, because now I've seen all the other creative stuff that is happening in the space, and I'm very excited to see where we go, and I'm looking forward to see like building the future with all you guys. So thank you very much. Any questions?